Let's go! The Ron and John podcast is on the air right now as we speak. This is Ron, one of your co-hosts, and I'm telling you, it's a beautiful night out here. The locusts are making noises. They're clapping for us. We're so grateful to be here. And I do want to apologize completely 100%. Life, called us up. We were working a lot. We had, some prior engagements. We were trying to get this done last week. Unfortunately, we were unable to. And I do want to apologize to our listeners and followers, whoever you are. We appreciate you listening to every episode that we do. It's beautiful out here. It's like 70 degrees. The sun is down. Actually, it's mid evening. Technically, the street lights are coming on. You hear birds chirping because they love me like that because I'm out here with my guns out. I can understand that 100% totally. I would be kind of melting too if I saw my guns. But as I was saying, we do apologize for the situation. We will not have that hopefully happen again. But work is sometimes comes before what we call our little project right now. And until we can get that completely done every week and we have that time we can do, we'll definitely do with it. So go ahead, John. I mean, I'm not even supposed to say your name. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. As you already know from shit.
I hate when I shit. I shit all the time. The best thing about shit, let me explain something. The best time to ever go take a dump is 3 in the morning. Plain and simple.
Why?
Because at 3 in the morning, there ain't nobody up. The only people who are up is the animals. There's a TV on. And sometimes you see some random stranger walking around going, I guess it's exercise. They walk or they jog. But it's so peaceful and quiet. You don't have to listen to these people out here, these locusts that, yes, they are my fans. They are my fan club. They love me. But when you're in, 3 o'clock in the morning, you're half dazed, you barely know where you're going, you're just moving right along, you hopefully hit every light switch on the way through. I hit like maybe one. A lot of times I hit a wall, because I'm half out of it. And then when I get myself set and, I'm sitting there, first thing I do, I'm on Facebook and I'm like, look at that. Look at that. The Ron and John podcast.
Real
First thing I
talk.
look, yeah, real talk, like real talk, And this is about as real as you get because it's part of life. Everyone has this situation. Everyone does this. And we get older, it becomes more frequent, and that's, some things, it's body. I think it's, they talk about colon cancer with that and, a small bladder or other things, health conditions. I just think my body's really healthy. I think it's telling me that, hey, it's time to wake up. Let's make this happen. Just flush the toilet and get back to bed. I mean, what is your opinion about that?
If I have to get up at 3 in the morning, it's not a good feeling. I have to drag myself into the bathroom and then find myself back to the bed.
Well, I mean, that's what the wall's for, right? A left hand. So in fire school, when I was a firefighter, they taught us, do left hand searches, right hand searches. Yeah. So when you went and looked for a victim, or there was, it's called a preliminary search. So you would be on all fours, and you're the lead man. The guy behind you would grab hold of the opposite leg or the boot per se. So if I'm doing a left hand search, he would grab my right boot. If it was a right hand search, he'd grab my left boot. And his job is to sweep his leg out into the middle of the floor, just in case there's something he can bump. If someone, passed down the middle of the floor, you're not going to find them against the, the wall 9 times out of 10. But you find like the closet door, you find like, little things, maybe like you run into a dresser. You look underneath the dresser or on top of the dresser. But the guy behind him is just as important because he's sweeping his leg, and he sweeps as far as he can, which technically I would say maybe 3 to 6 foot into the middle of the room. And your usual, I would say, room is what, 12 foot wide probably on average, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more. Most like bedrooms are like 12 foot. So like you figure if he's got his leg, he's sweeping, he might miss 1 foot tops, in that whole bedroom. So when he's sweeping and say he hits something, hold on 1 second, You know, branch off, find out what it is, keep it moving. If it's nothing, if it's something, then you go from there. You know, if it's a victim, you got to carry them out, stuff like that. So I can understand. You can always use a search if you need to. If you got to go to the bathroom, if left hand, right hand. I mean, do you when you roll out of bed, do you roll to your left or right?
I roll to the ground because my
roll-
back hurts.
Well, I think when you get to a certain age, that's just a natural thing. You just fall straight to the ground. I've learned like mine's a stumble. Like I kind of get up and I look around. I just go and I'm just like don't. I'm just like trying to go. I mean, I got a bathroom in my bedroom. I got a bathroom that goes to my living room. And a lot of times I go to the bathroom in the living room because I just feel like it's more comfortable. Like it's real secluded. No one's bothering me. I'm just by myself. The dogs don't bother me. I ain't got to worry about nobody. If I want to drop the bomb, I'll drop the bomb. At the end of the day.
Is that the bathroom the kids use?
No, not really. They're upstairs. They can do what they got to do upstairs. Not where I'm at. I have to do what I have to do. I am the king of my castle.
No, I was just thinking you were lighting it up for them.
No, well, so honestly, like I'm not that guy to sit there and light it up and then not turn on the fan. Like I'm just gonna light it up, and if I want to be that evil, I'm just not gonna flush the toilet. I'm just gonna leave it there. You know what I mean? Someone find, oh my god, but I haven't done that in a long time. So I mean, probably it's been ages. But at the same token, that's crossed my mind. It's kind of like it's certain things in life that it's poop jokes, and we're all kind of giddy about poop jokes. We make fun of it, we might laugh a little bit, and a lot of people are like, ew, that's disgusting. But at the end of the day, is it really disgusting? It's part of your natural function. You have to go excrete yourself. You have to release all the negative whatever, your
Negative energy.
Yeah, well,
flush
it
them
is
down.
yes, because I mean, it's just like when you're diabetic, sugar. You're diabetic. You're not supposed to be over, I think, 120, 100, something like that. Remember the one gentleman that used to live with me in Ridgely? His diet, he would be like 550, like he's about to stroke out, and I'm like, he's turning all red, and I'm like, you all right? I'm fine. I'm just sweating a lot, dude. It's 12 degrees outside. What are you doing? Like, you're not sweating. Well, it's hot in here. It is 62. It is not hot in here. What are you talking about? Now I'm getting a little cold, and I don't get cold in like that weather. I'm outside, t-shirt, shorts. I enjoy snow. I enjoy the cold. So I mean, maybe I'm just having one of those days. You know what I mean? But like I said, at the end of the day, a good poop joke will always make someone laugh sooner or later. Some probably not, though. I mean, I've met people be like, ew, that's disgusting, blah, blah. Well, it is disgusting. Disgusting. But just remember, at the end of the day, as long as you don't roll in it, you're fine. So.
And we'll be back with our next episode of ADHD is coming back.
Yes, we are going on a tear. I have been 2 weeks without any of my listeners listening to us, and I'm very, 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 very good. I have so much anger and energy and positive energy. The anger has gone. So it's funny. So yesterday, when we talked about doing this tonight, I was hyped. Like, I was like, oh yeah, we're going to do this, blah, 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 blah. So, like, I get done work at, I think it was like 9:30. Like, I had a 12-and-a-half-hour day. And I'm just like, man, this sucks, man. For real. 12-and-a-half hours just sucks completely. So, it sucks some life out of me. But I was like, all right. So, I go to bed. I wake up this morning. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this today. I'm really worn out. I got to go to work today. This is really going to suck. I'm going to have nothing on my mind. We're not going to talk about nothing. I'm going to look at him like a rented cheap suit. I don't even know what I want to talk about. And then like it all of a sudden hit me like I would say 2:30. I got off work like 1, and it just hit me. I was like, yo, this is where I'm going to be. Let's go and do it. I'm 100% for it, and that's fine. I like doing stuff like this. This is so much relaxing, man. And I'm telling you, like, we're going to have to find these locusts. And we're going to have to spin kick them off every tree in here because they are loud. But hopefully They're not allowed to drown me out or you out the whole time.
Well, they might drown me out, but definitely not you.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, what are you going to do? They like, well, I was screaming earlier. I was,
Yeah, you
but
started a podcast.
yes, that's how you should be. You should have fun, enjoy yourself. There is so many people out there that I can believe would be like, how do you do it, or what makes you just click? What makes you just go with it? It's just who I am. Like it, you can't be shy. You can't, because at the end of the day, if I'm shy, the whole thing's gonna be like, and we don't want that. We don't want silence. 45 to an hour worth of silence means no listeners. Nobody from Argentina, no from Spain, Belgium, Texas, Georgia, Kansas, Arkansas, Arizona, California, New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts. If I missed anybody, sorry, I do apologize. But I try to cover everyone I could, and to be honest with you, it's humbling. It's very humbling to see people from different countries and from different states listening to this and either going, man, they some weird people, man. I don't know about these people for me, sure. Or they're going, man, I want to listen to another one. I want to do another one. Let's go to another one. Let's see what's going on, what they're talking about, what they're all about. And I think that's a gift that we get, and it might sound kind of arrogant or narcissist, but I don't think it is, because I feel like if we take someone's mind off whatever they're, worried about, or they're angry about, or they're frustrated about, and they know they can sit there and just be like, one day I want to call into them, or maybe one day I want to message them, or one day, I want to see who they are. I'm cool with that, because soon we're going to be in the light. We're going to have our faces on our podcast. We're going to have your wonderful Peruvian face on the podcast. My beautiful, old, decrepit face on the podcast. And it's going to see our faces there. And, soon we're about to go on Twitter. Soon we're going to probably have our little Snapchat account. We're going to have to. Like in the beginning, hey, this is when we started, blah, blah, blah. There's so much available that we're going to do that's only starting. We are at the bare basement. We're not even touched anything. We haven't scraped the surface. We're actually below the surface. And sooner or later, we're going to be above the surface. And it makes a lot of sense that, we come out here and get the best product we can. Mm-hmm. It might not, there's some episodes, some people might be like, they're terrible or whatever. And I get it. We're not going to be everyone's cup of tea.
No.
I get that. I totally understand that. But if I make myself, or, we make ourselves a cup of tea for somebody, someone's working, or they're sitting there in the kitchen, doing stuff, and all of a sudden they're like, geez, that was kind of funny. Or, wow, I'm going to start listening to them more, or, just little things, that's what it's about. That's what life is 100% about. And I got to admit, at first, being, the first couple episodes, was kind of like all over the place. And I mean, maybe this is too, which is fine. But this is what we are. We're establishing an identity. Our identity is like, we say what we want. We do what we want. We don't have I would say we do have filter to a point, but if we got something to say, we're going to say, and it doesn't matter, if we don't want to hurt no one's feelings, but at the same time, we want to be real about it. Because if we're not real, it's not real talk.
Speaking of real, I just noticed somewhere down the block, someone is listening to Backstreet Boys really, really loud.
Because I want it that way.
But tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a heartache.
All right, there goes our copyright license.
Yes, we are on point, even though it's well, I thought it was insane. No, what are they?
Backstreet Boys.
Well, it's on a back street. And I'm pretty, you know what? It's probably the college. I wouldn't doubt it, because well, no, that don't sound right for the college. That wouldn't sound right at all. I mean, because that's old school. Like, I think they barely know that's music, probably. Maybe. I don't know, but I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I've been wrong many a time. But the good thing is, like, being so close to a college, you do hear a lot of their music. And I mean that one, I think it was their homecoming last year. We were inside here, and we could hear every song clean as day at 1 o'clock in the morning. Literally, it was screaming. There were so many complaints. They had they were calling the cops, trying to figure out where it was coming from, and come to find out it was down the college. And the college was a block and a half, 2 blocks, probably 3 blocks away, technically straight ahead. But it was that loud. Like, it's amazing. Whoever was DJing was blown out of the water. Like, for real. I remember I heard a couple songs. Like, there was a couple songs. Like, I think I heard that back in like 2003. Like, holy crap! Like, these kids are college students. They're barely even 19, 20. So I guess they just was born with that. So I guess it was whatever they would listen to. So, but yeah.
But let's get on to something new we actually tried this week. We went out and interviewed someone, and he's got a background in electronics. He's currently working as a biomed technician, and this is what we like doing here. We like to go out and get to know people. So, without further ado, here's our interview.
So today we have Doug. He's going to come in for an interview, definitely. So we're definitely going to go from there. So Doug, might as well ask. So where were you born at?
Well, I was born in New Jersey, but I'm a military brat, so I'm from everywhere.
So, how long were you in Germany, and did you stay there for a while?
From 5 to 10, I was in Europe, in Germany, Kaiserslautern, and then I moved to Dover Air Force Base, and that's where I've kind of made a home.
Did you just say Kaiserslautern? What is that?
Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
Kaiserslautern. That's a city in Germany. There's the popular ones are Ramstein or Frankfurt, and it's south of them.
So, before you moved to Dover, where else do you remember living? I know you were young, but what else can you tell us?
But I started out when I was real young, hard to remember, in Guam. The only thing I remember about Guam is picking geckos out of the tub to take a bath. But other than that, I don't have many memories of that because I was 3, 4, somewhere in there. Then I moved to Binghamton, New York, and then that's when Dad actually. I didn't move. That's where Dad was from.
Gotcha.
And then he got stationed at Dover, which is when he got moved to Germany. And then I turned 5. Then from Germany back to Dover, and that's where Dad retired. So we stayed in Dover for a long time.
So just curious, when did your dad retire?
I was I think I don't remember exactly when he only did 42 or not 42 but 22 years I think. So
Okay.
he got out when he could. And then he was at Dover, so he stationed there. We had bought a home in Harrington, and that's where we ended up.
So, is that where you graduated from high school?
Yes.
All right. So, Doug, how did you end up settling in the U.S. after moving pretty much all over the world?
I didn't mind until I think between going from middle school to high school and then moving from Caesar Rodney District to Woodbridge. That was the hardest part because I wasn't used to. At that time, felt kind of settled at Dover Air Force Base, but.
So Doug, I do have to ask, any fun stories from, being all over the place and, doing different stuff?
Well, in Germany, I remember a lot. So,
Fun?
yeah, like I got an opportunity to ski the German Alps when I was a kid. So I did downhill slalom in a youth event. Actually got a silver medal. So it was fun. I had to go to the bathroom so bad I went down the hill as fast as I could. So anyway, I remember Holland, the tulip gardens and the windmills. That was real impressionable because I was young. And it was a beautiful place. Amsterdam we went to and visited, and that, of course, that had streets that were water, and it's part of the town. That was intriguing.
Right.
Of course, over in Germany, if you don't remember soccer, you won't remember anything because we played fall and spring soccer, because that's, if you didn't play soccer in Germany, you were not a normal person. Also, remember one thing is really neat is when up on the hill where we lived in Kaiserslautern, you could walk up there and there was castle ruins, and they had an old wall and there was a tunnel going through it, and there was things like that, cannonballs still stuck in the side and that's like history you don't have in America. So we got to play there.
Kind of want to go there.
It was pretty neat. It was really neat.
So, do you have any like college degrees or like any like what do they call it? Tool diplomas? What do you call like masonry, welding, plumbing, or anything like that?
Electronics technology, associates in electronics technology.
So when being a young child, and then when you were growing up, is that what you wanted to be? Was your focus goal?
Actually, didn't know what I wanted to be. I went through high school, got to my graduating. I went general ed because I could get by and get out of high school. And then I was working for a year doing construction and farming and building chicken houses and things like that. Did some landscape, like mowing lawns and different things like that. And I had told out of high school this guy from DeVry that in about a year I might be interested in going to college. And I was talking to my mom. She said, any guy stopped by and wants to stop by and talk to about college. And I said, well, I got to either start a business or I got to go to school. I said, because I can't make the living I'd like to make unless I do one or the other. And I didn't really feel like the risk of a business, so I said, well, let me try school. So then he came to my house and he says, well, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know. I like taking things apart and putting them back together. And he said, well, why don't you try electronics? From there, I went there the first term. Loved it, absolutely loved it. And just from there was what I wanted to do.
So you've done quite a few jobs throughout your career, actually. So what were they? Can you tell us a little bit about them?
I started out in Kent County business machines, which was like cash registers and typewriters, things like that, and worked there a couple years. And then I went to a job agency, and it's like, where can I really use my electronic school skills better? And they suggested industrial. So I started looking around and got a job at a place called General Metalcraft, and it became Steelworks. They were a steel stamping press shop, kind of, where they built filing cabinets and they got into desks and different things like that. And then about 3.5 years of that, I found a job. It was a plastics manufacturing plant called Huntsman Packaging. It was Rexine Corporation at the time. It was bought by Huntsman, and spent about 3.5 years there, and then tried the food industry at Kraft Foods and worked on all their automated lines at the facility in Dover. Man, I think I lasted roughly 3.5 years there, and then got a job with a company. It's a FINA, it's a pharmaceutical plant, but they were making pillowcases and pillows for airlines and stuff like that. And then when I got there, we changed over to a pharmaceutical company and spent 15 years there in industrial, everything electronics, programming. I did electrician work. It was kind of like a jack of all trades job. And from there, I became biomed.
So Doug, knowing that you are married, can you tell us a little bit of how you met your wife?
When I moved from Dover Air Force Base and Dad bought a house in Harrington, she was, I started hanging out with a guy who was in the Mennonite Youth Foundation, or Mennonite Youth, I don't know, whatever it is. Anyway, their youth group. And he invited me there. And I was about 9th, 10th grade, and then I met my wife, current wife. I saw her, and we kind of started talking and stuff like that, and that's how I met her, just through that.
So if we went back to your wife, we were like, so how did you really meet your husband? Is this what she would say?
She will tell you that she met me in a ditch.
A ditch? Well, that's rough. Why do you think she'd say that?
Well, her dad wasn't going to let her date till she was 18.
Okay.
So we kind of just hung around and saw each other, youth groups, things like that. Technically weren't dating. And so, you know, we were growing close, and then got out of high school, dated a little bit, and then she was going to go into mission work, and I had planned to go to college. So at that point, we kind of parted ways, and she went to missions, I went to college, and then I graduated college, and she was done with her mission work and kind of came back to Delaware and just picked up where we left off.
So, in realistic time, how long were you two apart?
Year and a half, roughly. We were apart, and then yeah, come back. It was a pretty short time. We I guess I asked her then.
So, asking, are you religious in any way, or do you practice certain type of faith or anything like that?
Yeah, we go to Greenwood Mennonite Church. We're both members of the church. She kind of was born and raised in the church, and I started hanging around a guy in the youth group there, and was raised kind of Easter Christmas Catholic. If you can, anyway, you go on Easter, you go on Christmas, and you're Catholic. So, but and I really liked what the church was about and things like that, so I joined it, and that's where we kind of are.
So what about your kids? Do they practice the same faith? I assume I do, but you can't always assume, right?
Yep. They've all been raised up in the Mennonite church, and they all go to Greenwood Mennonite School. So yeah, they all follow the Mennonite. You call it Mennonite religion, but it's basically just Christian religion. It's Bible based. Follow it as well as we can, and yeah, they were all raised up that way, and they all seem to be following the same path.
So, is there any part of your life you would like to change, or you would have changed and done things differently? Maybe handled the situation, or maybe like a length of period of time where you wish that you'd done something different instead of what you did, right now?
It's pretty much the way I would probably do it. I would have probably been a little more, when I was younger, a little more dedicated. Like when we moved from Caesar Rodney to Woodbridge, I probably would have played more sports and did a little more, applied myself a little more in school. But that's, being a military brat and moving, it kind of sets you back sometimes. You get a little discouraged. So I didn't do a whole lot of that, and that'd probably be the only thing I would do different.
So Doug, is there something that you learned throughout your life that you would like to pass on to the younger generation? Help them learn, teach them something?
I don't know. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Without risk, there's no reward.
Okay.
And also, definitely with my faith background and my religion, is you gotta have faith. You gotta understand where you come from, what you are, who you are, and there's only one way to have a good quality lifestyle, and that's through our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
So, pretty much, what would you say you were the most grateful for, the most blessing in your life?
Mostly faith, family, and friends. I don't believe that you can gain anything in this world other than what you can take after, which is the people that you have relationships with. So I feel like those are the investments that are worthwhile.
Doug, I appreciate your time and efforts. I tell you, it was great to speak to you. Even though we don't know each other, and definitely we will have to do this again if possible.
Yeah, thank you for your time, Doug.
Thank you.
Let's give this man a round of applause, man. Good job. Yes. first time interview we've ever done here at the Ron and John podcast. It's only going to get better, that's the best thing. Learning about certain people, like we told you in the beginning, this is an average Joe per podcast. We're not trying to get the professional ones in there, and that's going to happen sometimes. Maybe down the road, or we get people that work in the movie business, or maybe other opportunities. We want to focus more on the Eastern Shore, which will happen in time. I think only probably I don't know what 1% probably is in like the professional range of like professional athletes and whatever stuff with that. So I mean that's going to take time and stuff.
You're right. It is going to take time, but you know what? Doing this helps me because I've never actually gone out and interviewed people before. Have you?
I've been interviewed myself several times. That's about it.
Yeah, me too.
I do my like when I'm in the bathroom and I look in the mirror, I'm like, hey, what is your name? My name is Ron. You're sexy, Ron. Nice dad bod. But as total, I haven't done like an interview like that before. It's very unique. You actually have pressure to a point because you have to say ask the right questions, get the right responses. You can't just sit there and be like, so what are you doing today? What I mean? It's just not natural when you do something like that. You have to sit there and really think out questions and, hopefully answers are going to be what you're hoping for. It's not, per se, pretext, and they're being put on the spot as well. Yeah. So they're coming up with the concepts of, okay, well, he asked me this question, rapid fire, Q&A, blah, 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 blah. And it was very different. I enjoy it. I really did enjoy this one. I know we're gonna branch off and do more. We're gonna do different people. The person that you see behind a desk, or someone that you see in a hospital, or someone you see as a security guard, or as a policeman, and these are people that the average Joe is just on the street, or wouldn't recognize. I apologize. That's what I should have said. But someone as the normal life that we live, wakes up, puts their clothes on, works 8 to 4, 9 to 5, 9 to 9, 7 to 7. Everyone's got different shifts. It's just to more bring out the average Joe person. And it's nice, I think, on their part that they do volunteer for this, and we volunteer our times as well. I mean, this is our startup. This is our little baby that we're, performing to make it bigger and make it more, I guess, rambunctious and more like popular and more open and everything like that. And I think all in time that will happen. I just think it's going to take a lot of time, which is fine with me. I have no problem. I'd rather just take my time anyway. It's just like these people out on the roads. I don't know if you deal with it, John, but on an average basis, like I'll be driving. So I go to work, leave here at 8:30, 9 o'clock, go into work. And when I go into work, I'm thinking, okay, well, it's a little drive. I mean, it's not like, 400 miles away. But, I mean, it's still like, a 35, 40 minute drive. And there's so many people just don't care if you're on the road. They'll fly by you 70, 80 miles an hour, try to, run you over. They'll do whatever, stuff like that. It's nerve-wracking because they'll turn in front of you. They'll cut you off. And they have no remorse. They don't care. And that's bad situations. That causes accidents. It causes, turmoil. I mean, I just read somewhere there was a road rage incident in Smyrna, I think about a week ago. Someone pulled out a gun. I think they shot at him or something like that. I don't remember exactly. I'm not going to quote that. But still, being on the road, there's so many obstacles and, cautions and red flags that could cause any kind of situation where you might not make it to work, or you might not make it home from work. You never know at that situation. I mean, have you experienced any of those lately?
Not lately, but I've definitely experienced that. And it's usually on the way to work or back. Because, other than that, with a family, like you already know, there's not much getting out. Mm-hmm. But yeah, especially on the way to work, everyone's in a hurry for some reason. Just leave a little earlier.
Yeah, and that's what I don't. I mean, I guess because I gotta be at work at 8. I'm gonna go to bed at like 11, 12 o'clock on Sunday night, and then go into work and get up by 6:30 or 7 o'clock and be at work by 8 when it takes me 45 minutes to go there. And I'm probably still gonna stop somewhere to get gas or get food or get whatever. Like just leave a little bit earlier so I don't have to sit there and worry about being wrecked into. I don't have to worry about the person in front of me because I'm not worried about myself more or less. I'm worried about the people around me. Because at the end of the day, I feel I'm a safe driver. I mean, I do have. Speaking of that, so the road from Harrington to Denton. So Thursday or Wednesday, I never really speed on that road. I go about maybe 53, which is over the speed limit, but I think it's over 5. It was under 5. I'm always under 5, which is safe, stuff like that. So I'm driving. I'm in Maryland. I'm about 2 miles in, and I look up, and there's 3 cars, and I'm like, that first car stopped, and I was like, see this car kind of pull over to the side. It's a white car, SUV. It's like, that's a cop. Sure enough, as I go by, I see Caroline County Sheriff. I was like, oh man. I pull right over. I see him whip around, come back. I'm like, man, I'll never do this. Like, how is this going to happen? This is like 2:30 in the afternoon, 2:45, and I'm going to Denton. I'm going to actually right around your house actually, and off Garland Road, near what is it?
Well, let's not tell people where I live.
Okay, well you already know a little bit. Oh, he lives off Garland Road. You're still not there yet, but still. So I'm like, okay, so I go get my license. I don't even hand it to him. So what I do is I put it on the windowsill. Put my license on the windowsill. I put my insurance, my registration. He was like, you know what? I pulled you over. So I'm about 100% sure I'm probably speeding. I was probably going about 65. He said, well, you going 63. And I was like, okay, man, cool. He was like, can I see your license? I said, it's right there, man. I'm not going to give him any opportunity to think I'm doing anything stupid.
Right.
I'm going to leave it right there. He can pick it himself. And the worst part is where our vehicles are, where I work at, on the other side of the wall, they grow what you would call medical marijuana. So the whole warehouse smells like marijuana on a regular basis. Like, I mean, literally, you come in the like when it's hot. Oh my God, it's overcoming. Like you just walk in, like, oh my God, like straight, just eyes wide open. You're like, okay, this is cool. I'm good, whatever. Did
he have a canine?
No, but yeah, so here's a good thing. So where we go, a lot of places, a lot of cops will search our vehicles because it smells like it. Like it's so embedded into the vehicles now. So, but they never find anything. So, I mean, and we tell them like, yo, like this is what we got at the warehouse. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna just park the vehicles outside? And that would cause more of an issue. So, he didn't say nothing. I was going to be like, I was waiting for that comment, smell like weed in here. I'm going to be like, nah, dude, I gave that up a long time. But it has crossed my mind. I'm not going to lie, doing, not medical per se, but it'd be my medical, my therapy, I guess. But, so he comes back. He says, here you go, sir. Be safe out there. Here's a warning. I was like, yes, you're not messing up my insurance. You're not messing up my speeding. I'm good with this. And I just took right off. And for some reason, I'm still like a mile before my turn. And like, I decided I'm going to go 60 like an idiot. And then I was like, you know what? You got to slow down there, buddy. You got to slow it down. So I slowed it down, made my turn, and I headed to where I had to go and got there safely, But I still had to go from there to Easton to Cambridge to Hurlock to Salisbury and stuff like that. So I mean, the good thing is, like I said, I kind of pride myself in my driving. I don't try to, run people off the road, which I don't think a lot of people do, but they're so much in a hurry. And Texans, the worst habit in the world. I can do it, but I've noticed when I'm getting older, it's not sufficient. Like I take my eyes off the road, which I shouldn't. So I'm learning something new every day. Being older, I'm starting to learn that my hearing goes bad now. Like I have people be like, "Oh," I'm like, "What? How was your day?" Oh, okay, yeah, it's been okay. You know what I mean? Like that's all I can say to it. But I think that's all about being in the bar for 20 years around loudspeakers at all times, and I mean they're unforgiving. Like them speakers don't forgive; they just go at it, and they're not going to stop unless you stop them. You know what I mean? So. But yeah, I mean, all total, it's been a good last 2 weeks, and I think we really needed that reprieve, that refresher, be off for last week made me appreciate what we do. It makes us more lively. I mean, as you heard at the beginning, like I'm screaming and yelling. Now it's nightfall actually, like literally, like all the lights are on. There's a couple squirrels here and there. There's a fire hydrant looking at me right now. It's probably not nice to me. But, I mean, at the end of the day, this is the way we live. This is how we live. And this is this is the way I want to live. And I enjoy every minute of it. I hear the crickets, too.
Yeah, I hear them.
They're really loud. I might have to spin kick them, too. Like, I'm thinking that.
Do it.
I can. I mean, so I was thinking, like, you know what I was thinking? So, when you drive and you're delivering, you get a lot of random thoughts. Like thoughts that maybe you shouldn't have. Well, not like bad thoughts per se, but thoughts that you're like, really? So I was thinking, what if one day I celebrate making my first $10 million in life? What would I do to celebrate making my first time? That means for every year that I've worked, my first 10 million or first 5 million or something. And I come up with this objective. I would get a small pool, inflatable. I would put dollar bills in the bottom, get Jello, and put 20s on top and roll in it, almost naked. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, your mind just filters other places when you're driving, and you're like, oh my God, like, there's so much stuff, like, you can do when you're sitting there driving. You get creative and stuff, and I was doing that, like, the other day. And I see we have a fan out here. He's up in this tree. We're going to call him Hooter, the owl. He comes out every once in a while. He's a good friend of mine. He keeps me up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes, too. He's woke me up in the middle of the night. Like, you can hear him in the house. Like, that's how loud he is. But, back to where we're at. But, yeah, like, you get crazy ideas. You're like, wow, I can't believe I just thought of that. What am I thinking?
And you know what? That gives me an idea for an episode.
Yeah?
We should go on the road and record, with people's consent, their random thoughts that they get either when driving or just sitting at home all alone and you're watching TV, and out of the blue, they're like, what if I jump from here to there? I'm not going to give any ideas.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people trying it. But.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I think, we have a lot of random thoughts. I think we have thoughts all the time, but sometimes, we're so busy, we don't, buy into it. We go, okay, well, we got to concentrate on this, which is true. In life, you have to concentrate on certain things. But when you're driving, there's that time that you're on a long road and you're driving for miles and you're like, I'm going by a mountain. Why does it say fallen rocks? I don't see no fallen rocks. Like, I'm seriously, when I go to Pennsylvania, it says fallen rocks.
No, I know. I've seen the same sign.
And I think to myself, it's had to happen.
Yeah.
That's why it's there. It's like some of them signs, like, don't lick the soap dispenser. Someone had to lick the soap dispenser for that to be there. That's what makes it worse. Like, what was people doing?
It's happened. Don't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you'd be in the hospital. No, you wouldn't be in the hospital per se, soap, because back in the time, you remember, when you were younger, they would put soap in your mouth because you were cussing, remember? And that's what they would do. Now you put soap in the mouth, that is called child abuse. So, we definitely can't do that. But, I mean, you can't do it to, I don't know, yourself. I mean, just don't do it. We don't want to see you in the hospital. Please don't. But yeah, that's actually a good idea. Like, Just go to somebody that don't even know who you are. We're from Ron John's podcast or Ron whatever. Random thought, first thing in your mind, go ahead. And then we just take it and just run through it and run with it.
Mm-hmm.
We could actually do that probably a lot of places, and we'd probably get so many different random thoughts.
Yep.
Or you could even say, name a thought that you've had that you were like, wow, I can't believe I thought that. Like driving, like I have so many thoughts, and when I get out of the van, I think I leave them in the van. That's the worst part. My random thoughts, they're just there. Like they're sitting on the on the seat, going, "You left us here. We're just going to sit here."
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till you come back.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give you some more things to think about.
Exactly. Yes. Like it's amazing. I mean, it's kind of like when I used to look at the McDonald's arches. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't eat it. I can't do nothing with it. I'd rather you take McDonald's, put it at the end of the earth, and I'd never see another one. There's nothing good there, in my opinion.
And good thing you don't drive for a living and see them everywhere.
You're right. You're right. I probably go ham on it or something. I don't know. But like every time I see a McDonald's sign that arches, my mind goes kind of weird, and I'm sitting there going, wonder what would happen, or the chances, if that sign fell, would I have hit the middle of that M? I just random weird thoughts. Thoughts that, not a normal person's going to come up with. Not a normal person's going to be like, well, what's, if I say to somebody, I'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And that's a big thing, I think we definitely need to explore that. I mean, in my opinion. I mean, it's a good idea. So.
But for today, we just want to thank everyone that took the time to listen to our previous episode and this episode. We had one guest so far. The plan is to have more, not just people we know personally, but anybody that wants to be interviewed. If you like to talk, if you want to tell your story, just let us know.
I mean, even people that that don't listen to us, if they're interesting, or someone that might have a little bit, I guess you say, quan per se. They have they're professional in something, or there's a lot of small time actors in Delaware and Maryland on the Eastern Shore, and we're definitely going to explore all that. We are going to reach out to some people, and we're going to also reach out to people that per se is not famous, but we're also going to reach out to people that help people. Help the homeless and help do art and stuff like that. This is just not one thing, a lot of people want one thing only, and that's all to listen to or whatever. And I totally understand that. But if you get a variety, you're going to get a variety of people, and you might change someone's mind. You might change who they are. You might make them laugh once in a while. Like, man, that dude's hilarious. I don't know what that dude runs on. Man, John is hilarious, which.
He's not.
That is about as far-fetched as you can get. But it's okay. That's what makes it so interesting. That's what makes it so much fun and excitement. And, there's always that other option in your mind that, what are they going to say? And that's, if you remember correctly, the second episode, I think, was, the ADHD is real. Per se. Anything's going to fly out of my mouth. Whatever comes to my mind is going to go. I'm just going to go with it, and you know what? It's my podcast. It's me and John's podcast, and we're going to do whatever we can and whatever we want. But at the end of the day, we also want to hear from you. We want requests. We want stuff like that. We want to make this happen for you. We want you to be happy about the whole situation, and we want you to listen. Because if you listen, there's no us. If there's no us if you guys don't listen. So without you, there's no us per se. And that's a great, it's a great thing. I mean, we'll continue, but it'll suck. It'll be terrible because I'll be like, oh my God, we got 2 listeners now. This sucks, John. What are we going to do? People are like, well, we'll just keep on going. We'll just be drier this time. Oh my God. Let's let you talk, John. But it's okay. That's fine. It's not a big deal. One way or another, we'll get it through. Like I'll say, great interview. Doug from Greenwood did a great job per se. I want to say thank you to Doug. Hope he has a good time, in his life, and he enjoys everything that goes on.
Maybe in another year, we'll interview him again. see if he's got more stories or elaborate on some of the ones he's already mentioned. But until next time, we just want to say thank you to our listeners. Make sure you like us on Apple, Spotify, what other ones? RSS.
There's so many
Yeah.
podcasts out there that distribute our podcast, and we're really grateful for all of that. So like I mean, at the end of the day, like I'll say, I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. You enjoy yourselves. Don't take life for granted. Do you have fun? Enjoy it. And at the end of the night, you can go to sleep and wake up the next morning peaceful, quiet, cheerful, the whole 9 yards. So, you got anything else?
Yeah, don't forget about our YouTube channel. I know it's small, it's just starting, and even though we're not video per se, we do have our podcast on YouTube as well.
That is true, and looks like we are going to aim for a gaming channel as well. Some people might be interested, some people aren't, but this is going to be a build of an empire. We are slowly going to build what we want to build and enjoy every minute because life is, we can't take life for granted. We got to do what we do and we got to enjoy it because, no one else is going to enjoy it for us. Oh, well, you can go out for me. No, it don't work that way. Enjoy it for yourself. And you know what? Like I'm always going to say, it is what it is. Do you. And if you don't have haters, you're not living life right. So for Ron and John, we would like to say have a good weekend and have a good night.